That's an extremist view of the world. Yeah, they have to bring about the end of the world to make that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the one of the Iranian government.
Not just Iranian. It's the Iraqi Shiite. Not every Shiite. A few of them.
You know, back in when Iraq was run by Saddam Hussein, and he's not a great person by any means, at the very least, they had the Ba'athist Party that kept these people at bay, right? They kept the extremists out of government. Unfortunately, the Americans overthrew them, didn't want to work with them, and let Iraq turn into the way that it is right now. It's very unfortunate. Americans have this, not the Americans today, right? Trump is pretty smart, but the Bush era Americans, they had this stupid view, this neoconservative, neoliberal view that if they were to just export American democracy worldwide, everybody would embrace it. They would embrace democratic American values. That just isn't the case. What they did was they created power vacuums. Obama was, I would say, the worst in this regard when he sparked the Arab Spring. Him and Victoria Nuland, they planned the whole thing out, got rid of all these quote-unquote dictators, these strong men, and then, allowed the power vacuum to, just be filled by whoever the fuck had the most guns. And it just so happens to be militants. And that's why, certain part of the Middle East is kind of a mess right now as a result of that. And when, prevailing wisdom from the Saudis, for example, says that, hey, we need to shut this down. We need to shut down these weird guys called the Houthis, which are not a race, by the way. It's just a cult, right? People like to think, oh, they're a race of people. They're being genocided. No.
The Houthis. Well, first of all, the Houthis is not a race.
Yeah, it's not a race, but they think it is, right? A lot of people, they don't understand anything. They think Houthis, oh, there are people there, they're being oppressed. It's like, no, they're an extremist organization, just like Al-Qaeda is, right? And they think that the Saudis are oppressing them. No, that's also not true. You don't oppress Al-Qaeda, they're fucking terrorists. And that's what people don't understand, right? A lot of Americans thought, oh, we're just going to let these people run rampant. And Biden, he didn't help. He took them off the terror list. What the fuck? You're bombing Americans and you're taking them off the terror list? You're trying to negotiate with them? Are you nuts? So that's what he did. And, so like I said, when the Saudis and, UAE try to do something right with the region and keep these people under control, Americans are like, no, you can't do that. It's like, you almost think that maybe, Obama and Biden, they want instability in the region. They don't want peace. It's so dumb.
Yeah,
thank God for Trump, man. Trump gets it. The Abraham Accords, amazing. More of that, please.
Absolutely. Literally, oh my God. How do I explain this? I started working with U.S. military back in 2003. I came to the United States back in 2010, October 2010. And I was watching the news, like CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC, and all that stuff. And I was like, and they were reporting on overseas, and it was like, this shit doesn't add up. I was like, I just came back from over there. It was like, no. It was like, these people are fucking lying. Yeah. To everybody.
Yeah. They promoted the establishment's narrative, with Afghanistan in particular, that I can think of it. So I'm just.
Dude, Afghanistan.
They're like, the Northern Alliance are the good guys. They love democracy,
Yeah.
But what they don't mention is that they're actually worse than the Taliban. They oppress people. They have slaves. They have boy rape slaves, the whole Bakabazi thing. They just completely omitted that, right? They hid it for years and years.
And it's worth considering.
And then you find out that soldiers have been fired for it.
It's also worth considering how those same situations created a lot of the migrants that are causing the issues in the UK and elsewhere. You can kind of see the connections between the things. By the way, guys,
we get
they
some
wrapped this hot dog was a hint in that
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
Afghanistan is next.
The main difference between the... Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporters. So if you have the chance, please subscribe.
Where did they go? They went to the UK. Wow.
So this is meat. We're vegans. We can't have meat smoke coming into our. No, we're gonna speak to our landlord. No, like that is.
Yeah, they killed Gaddafi. Great job, guys.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
I think is that some can in Afghanistan and Pakistan because there's a border that is like not super secure right between the two.
Of course. Yeah. It's not guarded.
It's incredibly crazy. That's like talking about that stuff, and
Its impact on the West has been a disaster.
Oh my
and you can largely thank Merkel for
yeah,
this.
oh my God, yeah.
Merkel, Gordon Brown, all these fucking people, man.
When the fiasco they did overseas, and they transferred that fiasco into the West from mass migration and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, Gordon Brown's rule was a disaster, right? I mean, it's gotten to a point where you have Tony Blair, who was not a fantastic person, he's terrible, but you have him speaking out against it, right? He's like, it's gone too far, right? He's saying that Islamists are a problem in the UK. Like, he literally gave an interview recently where he said that. And no one seemed to have listened to it. You know, I'm thinking, okay, Tony Blair, the guy who's probably like partially responsible for the Afghanistan war and the Iraq war, is literally telling you that you should stop importing people, and no one's listening to that. You know, they're just listening to Starmer, who's a fucking lunatic, right? Who's like taken over the Labour Party, turned it to this far left nonsense, and it's like, it's wow, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Shameful.
Oh yeah, Blythe,
Oh, I love what you
did we end up getting every part of the last switchover to happen for the build?
Yeah, the switchover is completed. You have now the temporalis thing. Remember the teleport thing? So that's we should build a teleport now.
But everything else stays the same as it did before, right?
Yeah, exactly.
With a new gear.
Yeah, if you want to swap the chest, you can just swap the chest. You know, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I need to swap the chest to the thing that's
Yeah, if you're like doing a box kill, you can like swap the chest to just the DPS chest, and then if you're doing maps, you swap to the temporalis chest. Basically, it's pretty simple.
Hey,
true.
Adrian, I'm gonna drop from my computer and join right back into my phone. If you guys be gracious enough to bring me back up to speed.
Yeah, we're also gonna end this soon because I want to do some stuff in the live stream eventually. So.
Okay.
So in random post in 2020, Alexandria Occasional Cortex posted,
Cortez, yeah.
expand the court. She says, expand the court. You know, I agree with that. Expand the court. Let's pack it with conservatives. Let's go. Let's fucking go. What a dummy.
Ocasio is literally insane. It's like, what even is this? You know when the whole Nazi thing came out?
Yeah.
There's an angle of what? Oh my god, how controversial. Complete bullshit. And you had this person trying to explain how the ADL's assessment was wrong. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the ADL, of course, big, GG move from their side, of course, very good move. They basically stated the obvious of what was effectively true. It's a misinterpreted thing. It's not what people say that it is. Few delusional people say that it is. And that's it, right? That was to kind of paraphrase what their take was. And then she, of course, posted that statement from the ADL, Ocasio-Cortez, and then tried to somehow explain how it was in fact a Nazi thing. And I'm thinking to myself, I actually wanted to make a meme out of this, but I thought it was kind of funny to think about. I said, everybody be silent. Silence. The bartender is speaking. The bartender wants to tell everyone how the ADL is is wrong about examining what exactly anti-Semitism is or what it not is. Sure.
I don't know what fucking qualifications she thinks she has that she can Jew-splain the ADL,
I know, right? It's absolutely insane.
She's acting like she's more Jewish than them, and it's like, no, you are actually an anti-Semite, AOC. You have supported the destruction of Israeli homeland, the Jewish homeland. What are you doing? And now you're, telling them what a Nazi is, really? You, of all people, who have, stood shoulder to shoulder with people who have actually given the actual Sieg Heil? Really? You're going to tell people what a Nazi is. So your buddies who are all, anti-Jew, oh, they're fine, right? Oh, they're totally not anti-Semites. But Elon Musk, a friend of the Jews, man is very openly Jewish. I mean, openly friendly to the Jews and openly supportive of them. Oh, he is the real anti-Semite. Okay. And, I saw this horrible tweet from Hassan Piker, right? Where he was quote tweeting Elon Musk. Elon said, oh, so I might be the first person who's both a Nazi and a Zionist, ha ha ha. And, Hassan, quote tweets it and is like, yes. What? What delusional fucking planet do you live on where a Jew is a Nazi? And we're not talking self-hating Jews here. They literally believe the Jews are the actual Nazis. This is how deranged people on the far left are. They actually think the Jews are Nazis. That is just next level. So if the Jews are Nazis, then who are the real victims anyway? It's such a disgrace. To try to think about the way that they think will give you a headache.
Yeah. And it's fucked up, even now, so more than ever, it's very, very difficult because people are going to believe whatever they want to believe. And, it's you will find instances of blatant untruths being spread, and ironically enough here on X, this is a place where you have a lot of free speech. People will make these takes which are absolutely delusional, and you are allowed to make them, but the comments will, of course, criticize you, and that's fine. It's a good thing, actually. So that's what I like about this platform so much, is that people can make delusional takes, and that there's people on here who then get to voice their opinions on that take. Look at something like Reddit, for instance. Any dissenting opinion of any kind, be it valid or invalid, is censored if it doesn't so happen to agree with the moderator's twisted worldview. So, even the comparison images where other people have also waved their arms into the air. That you cannot post on Reddit. They'll ban you for it. So that's incredible. Yeah, and you can say a lot of things on it. I really like X because there is a lot of things that you can say on here. Not that you should say them, because I think a lot of them are very stupid, but you can say them, and people will roast you for it, and rightfully so. That you can't say on other platforms, even on TikTok. There's various things that you cannot say because you'll literally just get fucking banned for it. Mm-hmm. I see some crazy shit on here. That's a good thing. It's a good sign that there's crazy shit on here sometimes. I think that's an amazing thing because it really shows you that there is really free speech. It doesn't normally get the most reach, even though technically some of the insane stuff that's being said, especially when people are complaining about censorship, it's oh my god, I feel like I'm so censored, I'm so this, I'm so that. I'm like, you literally get 1.6 million impressions on your fucking post. You want to tell me that you're censored? You want to tell me that you're censored? Or the person who gets fucking 20k impressions in 30 minutes on their post wants to say that they are censored. Sure. Yeah. They got millions of followers, and they get 20k impressions on a post that they made 30 minutes ago. They get more impressions than most other people do. That's insane.
Worse.
With the same follower
Fucking-
accounts.
They do, yeah. And the worst part is they feel like they're entitled to payments.
Mm-hmm.
They act as if
Exactly.
they are entitled to a fucking payout, even though they agreed to the terms of service that says that X can, for any reason whatsoever, without providing you with a reason, can terminate your ability to be monetized because they don't want you to be paid. And that's the terms of service. You agreed to it. You may think it's unfair, but you fucking agreed to it. So I don't understand how these people feel like they're entitled to Elon Musk's money. They can post for free. Freedom of speech is not equal to freedom of reach. It is not a difficult concept to understand. If I'm speaking, I'm happy to be able to speak. I'm not being prevented from speaking. I can speak freely, but I should not expect to be paid for it.
We've got a gigantic government bureaucracy.
That is a
we've
bonus.
got overregulation. You've got agencies that have overlapping.
So it's absurd. They're like,
responsibilities.
oh, well,
It's
he's
to the point
suppressing
where
us by not
basically
giving us,
everything's
you know, the
illegal.
money that we
You
asked for. It's like,
you
well,
know, it's very hard to build new housing
I didn't realize
if,
that
you're
that you
burdened
were
with
like
massive
entitled to a
requirements that
payment.
don't make any
You know,
sense.
there's nothing in the agreement that says you're entitled to a payment. So what the fuck are you talking about?
We need to let the builders of America build.
Yeah.
So you're not going to the gulag, it turns out.
And dude,
This is weird.
what's also a bit of a mess is, okay, I want to have more paymod on X, and I explain. There is one way to do it if you just more actively post, and if there's a lot of replies under what you have, specifically verified replies, then you're going to get a higher payout. That is simply how it works. Now, that doesn't mean that you should post things that maximize engagement. You should post things that are genuinely valuable. This is what most people don't understand. They then begin to farm, and then the farm works for a little bit, but then the system is optimized to counter the farm, and then all of a sudden that vanishes, and then they complain about how there isn't any money anymore. It's like, my dude, you used a bug in the system to basically gain reward that you would have naturally never gotten, and then you complain when there is a correction, even though that's how it should have been the entire time. So, like,
Yeah.
and then you're making it hard for yourself as well. Be like, oh well, but you know, they want to post differently than this and differently than that. I'm like, dude, you have a massive fucking platform. You could simply choose to have, like, maybe even another person to help you out with a posting specifically, and then you could take elements of, I don't know, your stream or something like that, and then just put it out there, and it's very good, especially for like a video first platform. By the way, this is a request for the audience and anybody else who's listening. I need someone who can make schizo edits. I don't mean Nazi schizo edits. I don't want that kind of shit, okay? No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. But I want someone who is a very skilled editor to basically take moments out of our spaces and various other things and then turn it into like one of those based edits, you know, like what you normally find on TikTok and whatnot. And yeah, you can post it on here. We'll like repost it and everything. I actually just want people to create cool content. So if you want to do that, hit me up and I want to talk to you and see what you can do. Yeah. We're trying to maximize clipping. The more people clip our stuff, the better.
We want
There's
to
already 2
maximize
people that are doing
100 user minutes.
Yes. There's like 2 people that are already clipping, which I found very nice, but we need people who do edits now. We have clips, but we need edits. That's what we really need right now.
I think, Adrian, what you can do to facilitate this is to provide an example of the kind of edit you'd like to see.
That's going to be a bit difficult, by the way.
We'll find one that doesn't have a fucking black sun rotating in the background.
Yeah, no, that's not good. It's not good. I mean, the meme art's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Holy shit.
Go to YouTube and just type in, you know, Sigma edit or something. I'm sure you could find.
There's like this thing where, you know, there's like this thing where they have like this white text setup that pops up on top, and there's like a specific visual effect that makes it kind of, you know, pop out a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like these edits that have been going around. That's what I need right now. Like the Dexter edits, the same thing. But there's many different edits. Yeah. Yes.
American Psycho edits.
Yes. We need. We need American Psycho edits. We need. Yeah.
They have like funk music playing in the background.
Yes. When we like drop with lyrics.
Somebody says something like really bass, and then it just skips to the music, and the beat drops, and goes boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, some shit like that.
You know, yeah. Seen some Elon Musk edits, not super high quality, but you know, it's in the same style.
Yes, yeah, and we'll like it's a great thing for you as well, because if you want to say grow your platform here, and you provide things like this, that's amazing, because you know then you
promote it.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like,
I'll promote
boost
you.
some of your
Fuck,
stuff.
do one of me, and I'll promote you. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a show here, and we desperately need people to make edits of what we're saying here, stuff that's really, really based, real curation. And if you happen to find good things that we're actually posting out there, then, you can repost that, find good takes, and then we'll, because that's what we're looking for ourselves as well. There's actually a few that are doing this. My friend is doing this here. Blai's doing it. There's another guy who is, it's called Rex Spaces, who's actually created a tool where our spaces are actually available in recording form. So that's pretty cool. So if people want to get access to a specific piece of information, they can also do it that way. It works very well. Those spaces are all recorded. They're not recorded publicly here, but they're recorded there. So you can actually take stuff out there. I would actually take my spaces and publish them directly. It's just certain elements of the spaces that I don't kind of want because it's a very raw format. So stuff needs to be edited and sanitized and whatnot. Yeah, it's for moderation.
Wouldn't it be enjoyable to sit through, 2 minutes of dead air?
Exactly. Yeah. It's great live. We're doing it live. It's fun. It's nice when it's live, but
Yeah, because when you're listening to it live, you're probably doing something else at the same time.
Exactly.
I'm sure some of you are cooking or cleaning your house or something, maybe working out. So it's nice to just tune in. I mean, I do this with spaces all the time. I just sit there anonymously and listen, right? But if you're watching a show on YouTube, you kind of want to be seated somewhere and, sure, you have it playing in the background.
That's the one. Fucking Thomas Shelby edits. Shit like that. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pin it up at the top. Stuff like this, for instance, similar to this actually. Yeah, this guy gets it. Yeah, something like that. Not exactly like that, but something like that from the format perspective. You don't have to have that much afterwards as well, because that's a little bit overdone, I think. But it kind of gives you the general idea of what we're going for. We're looking for an ending that's a little shorter than that because it's a little bit too much. It's overdone in this case. But it's an example of kind of a format. But then again, people can also make schizo edits, taking together what we have said over the year, the most based takes, if somebody can actually put that together. So yeah. And at the end of the day, if you can produce cool shit and it's awesome and it's nice, send me examples. If you can do this, if you think you actually know what you're doing, send me examples. I will look at it. Don't tell me you can do it. Show me that you can do it. Okay? I need examples. Always. Okay, let's see what else is there. Yikes.
Ugh. This is a TV show, this movie called Running Point. And it was predicated on Kamala Harris being president. It's coming out on February 27th and did not age well.
What's this shit? Have you ever seen snakes? Have you ever seen snakes fight each other?
No. I've seen them eat each other, but never fight, no.
Snakes are pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
They're super primal, instinctual creatures, so they're just gonna eat each other. Snakes will be snakes.
This is funny. I'm gonna keep that posted later. I got a bunch of memes I'm gonna post later. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. We already know that there's gonna be a Joe Rogan podcast with what's his face?
Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
There absolutely is there 100% has to be a podcast with him, Joe Rogan podcast with that guy. It's gonna be great. Albrecht.
Quite a story, yeah.
Those internet videos are going to be insane. A lot of the essayists, YouTube essayists, are going to come out. You know, I have to. I know one of them. I know one of the YouTube essayists. They publish downfalls on people. I'm gonna message this guy after this and like ask him, hey man, you want to actually publish some of your content to X? I'd have to convince him somehow. Ah, bingo! I figured it out. Yeah, I think I might have a working thingy. Yeah. Oh my god. These edits are insane. You know, my favorites are the Ryan Gosling autism edits.
Oh yeah, they're hilarious.
Oh hey, check this out. I'm gonna send you guys something in the chats. Hold on, let me find it. Oh fuck. It's the wrong phone. I'm gonna have to like transfer the apps to this one. Because this one has the bigger battery. It's a chunky one. I've been letting this one run for quite a while now. It's incredible actually. Just testing it out. Figuring it out. You know how it is. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, guys, is it too soon to say this, or is this just right? But I think OpenAI is kind of cooked.
I think that's
Get that feeling.
I know people want to say, oh, well, they're going to be acquired by this, acquired by that. I'm like, dude, if anyone's going to acquire them, it's going to be...
doesn't matter. Talent's not there.
It's like...
Talent's not there. Doesn't
I
matter.
want to quote post this thing and say, I think OpenAI is cooked.
I think that SoftBank is making a huge mistake here. Yeah.
OpenAI?
Yeah,
They are.
They're making a massive
Yeah.
mistake here. And I think this is...
Microsoft.
I think this is going to be a massive nail in the coffin.
Guys, kind of cooked.
The question is, where the fuck are they even getting?
Does that mean that they are calculating this off as well as its own type of funding? Because that's what you could technically do. I've seen what charities do. Charities do this trick sometimes, by the way. If you ever see like a charity that says, oh, we've donated X amount of money. Let's say, for instance, there's a charity that says, we have donated 500 million. We'll do this by saying that charities do this quite a lot more than people would actually care to know or even admit that to know. It's like this. Let's say I make a charity donation, right? You can donate not just in money, but in resources. So let's say hypothetically, I donate $500 million worth of wheelchairs. Now, I can either have the wheelchairs priced at a normal rate, or I can charge $20,000 per wheelchair. Do you see what's happening here? I can now basically get a bunch of wheelchairs there it's going to cost me a fraction of the 500 million or whatever else I'm also donating. But if the price is inflated, it basically makes it look as if I'm donating this much, because the way that the assets are calculated, because the inflated price makes it look as though I'm donating this much in terms of resources, thereby potential value, and thereby the money is what I stated to be 500 million. Make sense?
Yeah.
It's a very disgusting trick, by the way. It's a very disgusting trick.
I don't know if they're actually donating.
Is this fraud? Is that fraud?
How much money are we talking about though? How much cash?
See, that's the thing. I don't fucking know. I don't know how much cash there is.
How much green are we talking about?
So it says deploying. So the verbiage is we will begin deploying 100 billion immediately. From what?
Well, $100 billion.
Actual cash. That's actual cash. That 100 million is actual cash.
Yes. So from what is that?
Okay, so SoftBank already has $100 billion worth of shit because they can raise them pretty easily. They've already done it before.
And Elon said SoftBank has well under 10 billion secured. I have that on good authority. That's what Elon said just now.
Yeah, but they have 100 billion total raised over several
I know.
projects.
I don't know where that shit's coming from.
Yeah, that's coming from Saudis. That's coming from Apple. That's coming from a bunch of other entities, right?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so they raised $100 billion, which they put into what was that failing project called? What was that fucking failing project called? WeWork.
Oh God, yeah.
They put it into a shit ton of failing companies, and Uber. They managed to make some money back from Uber, and then they basically degened into Tesla options. They made all of their losses back from Tesla options. And so I think they have a decent chunk of money now, which they would be able to deploy from their previous ventures. By the way, this is actually a pretty funny story of when SoftBank completely fucking degened to Tesla options. This is actually one of the major reasons why Tesla exploded in price. It's actually a pretty funny story because it actually broke fucking options markets, and they actually got like a lot of financial journalists to look into who was buying all these Tesla options, and it was all SoftBank.
That's funny.
Wow, that's funny. You know, it's interesting looking at spaces that I've had like a year ago or so, and comparing it to what is today. My speech has greatly improved. It's amazing. Before, I used to have more apprehension, which was a bit of a problem. Should get the point across more effectively. One of the great problems with space, especially if you are going to share the stage with other people, not here. Here it's relatively dynamic. Is that everybody has like the 2-minute allotted time for speaking, and they don't actually know what the fuck they're saying. They get caught up in their own words and they repeat what somebody else has said so that they can get their air time and just kind of rely off of somebody else's failing context window. So if you're like, don't stick, and you're not able to force your way into the system and stay there and be persistent force, then you're gonna get fucked on a stage like that. So having done that a lot has kind of changed the way that I speak. Like there's a lot more force behind how I speak. I'm also able to use my voice a lot more effectively now, meaning that get better breath work so you can speak better and have your voice be more fully formed. You know what I'm saying? Professionally yapping over here.
Yeah. But I notice the thing that you tend to do is you sometimes cut people off before they finish the sentence.
Yes, sometimes I have to do that. I'm like community notes, IRL. It's like
Yeah, but the problem is that you interrupted me earlier.
I know.
I'm not
but I kind of had to do it just to like be
You
honest.
interrupted me way too early before I was able to complete.
Oh yeah, I know.
And the context is so
I
important.
know.
Yeah, because like if I let you interrupt me, if I let you not let me finish my sentence, then it would have painted me as if I wanted a violent revolution, which is not at all what I want.
Right.
So yeah, it's very necessary for me to basically force myself into not to making you not interrupt me.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah,
so
that,
no
that
problem.
happens to me sometimes as well, where I'm making my point and I get cut off in the middle, and I know if I don't finish my point, I'm gonna sound like a complete dumbass.
Yeah.
In my case, that would sound genocidal, which is not intended.
Right.
It's so necessary to have context. I love my dishwasher. It's so effective. You know how sometimes when you have a shitty dishwasher, I don't know if you've used them a lot, but if you have a shitty one, it leaves like stains, or you have to wash it again afterwards, like manually. Yeah, don't have to do that with these new ones. They're very efficient.
I don't have a dishwasher at my house, and it's horrible. I have to wash my dishes by hand.
Yeah, you should get one.
Like
Yeah.
a peasant.
I used to wash them by hand. Ugh.
Than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000.
I understand where Adrian's coming from. He can't really use one because, solar power and all.
Really follows through and starts doing, operations over
But
the border
if
with
you
Mexico.
live in a place that doesn't use solar power, then you probably should get a dishwasher.
I wonder if there's a way to make them a lot more energy efficient.
I don't really go into the cities too
Yes,
much.
use an interesting thing that the human can do, and that's hold your hands. And it's like this amazing, flesh robotic thing that allows you to mechanically engage with the dishes in such a way as to basically wash them without the need for electricity, because you just consumed a bunch of resources that manufacturers erode.
God, Adrian's calling me out for being lazy.
That's probably not the way you can only do that.
We're lazy because it's efficient.
No. I can't. Look, here's my problem. I'm gonna rinse the fucking dishes. Okay, so it means I'm doing the work anyways. And I put the fucking dishes into the thing. Okay? Where's the
Wait,
thing?
why do you have to rinse up?
Because otherwise there are too many chunks on it. Well, suppose you got that super expensive dishwasher that consumes even more energy and more water.
I got a super expensive dishwasher. You don't need to rinse anything. Yeah, no, you just toss everything in. Yeah, no, it's actually pretty energy efficient. You don't have to do any rinsing before or after. Doesn't leave any weird stains, none of that. And there's also a garbage collection thing down there. So, like, the only thing you need to do is just empty your dishes. Like, don't put a gigantic chunk of meat in there. It's not going to work, right? Just empty your dishes in the garbage bin and then put it in there. It doesn't matter if it's got like rice or gravy. It doesn't matter. It's small. It's fine, and it will handle it.
And if it's a more advanced model, then there's a bit of an argument. It's still going to consume a lot of energy, especially for someone like me. It makes more sense to wash it manually, and it's a small amount. It's not a large amount. Look, honestly, I have when I'm doing something. Here's what I get dirty. I get one cutting board. For fuck's sake. Okay. One cutting board, one fork, one knife, one bowl, one pan. That's it. That's all I get dirty.
Yeah,
that's all I get dirty from cooking here. And if I have somebody else, that's an additional set of dishes, but that's it. That's not much. That's the whole cooking process, by the way. And I use it in such a way to basically max optimize like the amount of washing I do. So I basically do most no washing. Because I don't want to wash up. It's fucking annoying. It's an inefficient thing. I don't like it. I don't like a lot of things in life. I don't like eating. I don't like sleeping either. I don't like shitting. I don't like peeing. I don't like any of those things. I like using my brain.
By the way,
That's
do you
what
guys remember Pal World, the Pokemon slavery game?
Yeah, the Pokemon knockoff.
Pokemon slavery game, yeah. Apparently, someone decided to revisit it, and they found out that you can't throw the spheres to let out your pals anymore.
Yeah, because Nintendo.
Yeah, the pals just spawn beside you, so you can't so you can't do things like throw the pal at the opposite side of a boss to avoid the opening attack or a better position.
That's so stupid. They should replace it with some other throwing mechanic. You know,
I'm sure
like,
Nintendo.
maybe don't throw it instead.
I'm sure Nintendo would get in the way. It's.
What if they could just target it or something instead of throwing it? You know, just have it spawn there like a portal. That would work. Because no Nintendo game has that. I think that would work. I mean, what can Nintendo argue that it came up with the idea of monsters spawning beside you? No. Literally every game has that. So if you could just have a targeting system that lets you decide on the spot where to spawn a thing, I think that would be a pretty good workaround.
I think at this point the solution is just to buy Nintendo and stop them from suing everyone.
Yeah.
And
good luck. They have a
any billionaires want to help me out here?
I don't think Sony could even afford that.
Probably not. No.
You should do that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, extremely rich. I mean, if you saw how much money they made in the 90s.
Yeah, but they're
or we do the other way around.
That much right
we
now.
get them to embrace. Like, here's what we do: we get them to embrace the woke ideology a lot more. Wait until they become bankrupt, then we make our move.
But then it wouldn't be worth anything.
No, it will be worth something.
So you're killing a golden goose by making it woke.
No. Dude, you can bring that back. You can bring that back 100%. You can bring stuff like that back. The brand is still incredible. Unless you're doing some bullshit like
he would
the
never
Jaguar
have
is.
it. He'd be like, he would take a gun and he would shoot you before he would let that happen.
Yeah, but even if you were to, you can definitely bring that brand back even after you committed what is effectively mass suicide.
Nintendo's worth
do it.
$70 billion.
Yeah, no, that's not really possible.
Yeah, they're worth a lot.
Huh?
They wouldn't sell though. They wouldn't sell.
No.
I mean, it's a public company, so you can pretty much buy any.
You could probably get a large percentage of it, so that's true, yeah.
I don't think you could get away with it because a lot of them are pretty tight with the Japanese government, and they would literally say, "No, you can't let this happen," and Japanese government would just step in and.
I think at this point, the Japanese government would want any type of cash infusion into their companies.
Nah, not like this. Like they would not let it be sold. It's for them. You know, it's a matter of pride, national pride, to have Nintendo, and they don't want it to be owned by foreigners.
Yeah, I'm not. If that's the case, I'm not surprised that they're kind of dying as a country right now.
Yeah, they're like that. I mean, keep in mind, this is a country that has literally kind of wasted money to force Japanese companies that were spending money in China on equipment and manufacturing, and said, hey, we're going to actually pay you more to make stuff here at a loss, to themselves, to the government itself, and not to the company. The company is whatever, they'll absorb it. But yeah, no, Japan doesn't want foreigners to be owning its companies. They're really against that. Which, I mean, it's good in a sense.
I'm not sure about that.
Staying warm and.
I mean, it doesn't really make financial sense, but for them, it's more than just making financial sense. They don't always make the best.
Yeah, but you're not in the luxurious position to not have those decisions being made.
Doesn't matter. I mean, and keep in mind, this is a kind of country where its airlines, so Japan Airlines, not great, right? But in 2008, when that whole thing happened and a lot of companies are shutting down, the CEO, he fucking fired himself. You're like, I take full responsibility and fired myself, even though it wasn't actually his fault. It wasn't even his fault, but he took responsibility. This is the culture we're talking about. They're very different people. They think differently. I'm not saying that in a bad way, by the way. I mean that a really good way.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I respect that to some extent as well, but you're completely fucking your country. Japanese country, Japanese culture works amazingly when you have a proper demographic, right? Because the minority of the country is old people, right? And old people are respected, and the old people are kind of giving wisdom to the younger generation, right? And they're giving humility and all of these things, right? And as a result, they kind of suck up more of the resources of the country, but that's okay because they're preserving the culture and they're preserving discipline and they're doing all these things, right? That's good. Yep. Where it starts to break down is when old people are not making up a minority of the country, they're making up a majority of the country, right?
They still work, by the way, the old people there. They still work because they want to contribute. The problem is they live very long to the point where they can't work anymore. So, when I was there in Japan, I lived there for a while, a lot of the old people work. like we're talking senior citizens, are working, right? And they're proud of it. They are happy to contribute. The problem is they get too old to work. Like they physically cannot work. So they're not even sucking up resources on purpose the way that some old people are in other countries. You know, some people, they just want to retire, right? The Japanese don't want to retire. They're kind of forced to on account of their being too old, right? If you're 90 years old, you're not fucking working whether you want to or not. So that is the problem. They live too long. It's a kind of an interesting problem to have. It's a solid state society, if you will. And it's not a subject that it's not taboo, by the way. Like the whole concept of old people like kind of being, you know, draining too many resources. That is a pretty openly talked about issue in Japan. So it's not a taboo thing. They're not shaming old people. They can't figure out the problem. It's a very serious problem. They can't figure it out. They want to figure it out. The old people want to figure it out, and they don't know how to do it. Because I don't know if there's a solution to it. It's one of those problems that, you know, it's like a three-body problem. You can't solve it. It's unsolvable. It's a paradox. Which, I mean, credit to them for actually, you know, engaging in the problems. And I wish the rest of the world, you know, like, obviously some parts of the world have solved these issues, but I wish the rest of the world had that mentality where they want to solve problems, even if it means, you know, making sacrifices.
Alright, let's see. Let's have a look here.
Alright, everybody, I'm going to sleep. I don't give a fuck how long these motherfuckers go. I'm going to sleep. We got enough Elon fucking meat for the night.
No. Rachel Maddow's coming back for 5 nights a week to help with low ratings. As if it's gonna help.
No. Actually, no.